well, all hell's about to break loose and chaos is coming. It's like when that's happening in your life, you might want to be doing something that you regard as truly worthwhile. Because that's what will keep you afloat when everything is flooded. And you don't want to wait until the flood comes to start doing that, because if your ark's half built and you don't know how to captain it, the probability is very high that you'll drown. If you're interested in life, if you're interested in proper being, and you're disinclined to produce any more suffering than necessary, then you want to know how to conduct yourself when the catastrophe comes, so that you have a reasonable possibility of moving through it and starting anew.
That's waiting for us. The love in your marriage maybe will start fading. Your parents will start growing older. You could start seeing some of your loved ones passing away. Your own health could be starting to go. You could start seeing injuries, and you'll start thinking about all the things that maybe you wanted to accomplish in life, and reflect on the direction that you're currently going and whether you'll be able to reach those goals you once had set for yourself. Quite likely, life will not go as planned. It rarely ever does. Whatever dream or goal you're chasing after, it probably doesn't exist. That's the funny thing about life. Stability is an illusion created by society to protect us from the chaos of the universe. Because the fact is, we live in a chaotic world, and we try to shield ourselves from that unpredictability through daily routines, stable careers, marriages. And we like to think that's going to last forever, that we have all the time in the world. But life is anything but predictable. And so that's why it's important, I think, to enjoy the journey. If you find that fulfilling thing for you, then I encourage you to pursue that, because you have to go all in. Life is going to be rough. Nothing's ever easy. It's going to be unfair and unpredictable. And if it were anybody else's life, then sure, I would say they can go ahead and give it up, just relax. They don't have to try so hard. They can just enjoy their empty pleasures. But because this is your life, you have to go all in. I can still make it back. It's gonna be a little bit riskier. The stakes are much higher. There's really no more room for error here, but you know, you only live once.
Well, there's two modes of being in the world, right? There's one where you adopt the responsibility for living properly, for being properly, and you make the sacrifices necessary for doing that, and then everything will flourish properly. And the other one is a pathway of resentment and bitterness and rejection and murder and genocide. It's the choice of what game you're going to play. And you know, you can play the game of the seeker, I would say, and if you play that game, then everyone wins. And it's the best game you can play.
What is a teacher? A teacher who will help you to understand yourself. He's learning not only with the pupil, with the student, but also learning about himself. This is a whole process of learning, teaching, and understanding the whole movement of life.
Tender of the garden and shepherd of all things, the ultimate shepherd. That's a hell of a role. Perhaps that isn't only good for you, perhaps it's also the thing that will save your family, and then by implication perhaps save society. It's the entire living planet. Maintain the sanctity of life despite your power.
The root of desire is some avoidance of you as you think yourself to be dying.
There are times in your life where you know that the thing that you're saying is not true. It's a deception. It's a lie of some sort, and you're using it to manipulate yourself or another person or the world. And you're also possessed, fully possessed of the idea that you can get away with it. If you aim down enough, and then if enough of you aim down at the same time, everything will degenerate into something that's indistinguishable from the chaos from which things emerged at the beginning of time. Your moral degeneration contributes in no small way to the degeneration of the entire cosmos. The divine impulse towards the good will abandon you because of things that you've done. There's the kind of corruption lurking that would cause the entire living planet to withhold his grace and allow men to deteriorate. You should be concerned about what's interfering with your own vision first. And you should leave other people the hell alone in relationship to that. And so if your mode of being in the world is, if you would just act better, things would improve for me, or if you identify the evil and the catastrophe as something that's outside, that someone else needs to fix, or that someone else is responsible for, then you're not going to fix that. And you're going to remain blind to the things that you're doing and not doing that make things not go well. A puppet, right, whose strings are being pulled by unseen forces, transform into something that's autonomous and real. If you got your act together, it'd be better for you, and instantly it would be better for your family, assuming they wanted you to get your act together, and not everyone does, and then it would be better for the community. It's like, how far could you take that? How much good could you do? Maybe you could sort yourself out so that you wanted nothing but the good, and then maybe you could help make that manifest in the world. Maybe we wouldn't have all these terrible problems then. At least we'd have fewer of them, and that would be a start.